right, welcome back to another edition of the Forts Athletics Life and Coaching Podcast. I'm your host, Charles Inferna. We're at Forts Athletics. We provide coaches and athletes the tools they need in order to achieve their unique and specific goals. And one of the tools or tricks and tips that we've been talking about this week is on journaling in regards to accountability and goal setting. And I just wanted to share a quick story about journaling that kind of piggybacks on our prior video and has to do with one of my coaching mentors, Judd Logan. A couple years ago when Lewis was training at Ashland, I went out to visit. I walked in the field house. I was waiting for Judd and Lewis to arrive, and Judd's office was being renovated at the time, so there were boxes and stuff just all over the place, and I just happened to kind of glance down at one of the boxes, and I saw a notebook with the year 1987 kind of scribbled across the front. And as I was looking at it, Judd walked in, kind of startled me a little bit. Told me he'd be right with us with practice. It was in the summer, so we're getting ready to train outdoors. And he said, you could take a look if you like. And Lewis walked in at the same time, and I said, hey man, this is one of Judd's books here. And he goes, yeah, and he goes, you want to take a look at it? And I was like, well, of course I wanted to take a look at one of Judd's training journals. So I opened it up and was kind of astonished by what I saw, because basically he wrote notes for every single training session, every single throw, every single everything, the time of day, his weightlifting training session, beforehand, after, just detailed accounts of training sessions. And each banker's box had stacks of these notebooks piled up. And as I was looking through it, there were a few from the 80s, early 90s. I saw one from 99, and I was just dumbfounded, kind of like I am right now. And Lewis is like, hey man, it's no big deal. And just kind of looking through Judd's training journals, and I've heard Judd talk at conferences before about the famous journals and what was kept in the journals, and just these training secrets, or what I thought were training secrets. And it was just really interesting to me, because what he talked about, even this was a couple years ago, but decades before that, is he practiced what he preached. And he was able to go back, like he shared with me and Lewis, these different training blocks and what led up to certain throws and how he was feeling when he was competing internationally. And it made me wonder then, and it still makes me wonder today, as we're recording this, it's Thursday, August 12th, is how much time other athletes spend with journaling, and do they feel it's as important to their training and their development as athletes. And I'm not really so much talking about collegiate throwers, but professional throwers. So our Olympians from this year, if they were asked, would they be able to go through a notebook from 2 or 3 years ago and say, okay, this is what I did on August 12th, 2019, or 2018, or 2017, or whatever. And I don't know why it fascinates me, this art of keeping track of things, but it does. And it kind of sparked, I don't know, a research idea or an interest, and it's kind of off topic for the purpose of our car chronicles, but it just kind of makes me wonder, with some of the other books that I'm reading right now, like how much time are professional athletes, and in this case our Olympic throwers, like how much time do they spend journaling or keeping track of what they're doing in journals? And is there a correlation between athletes that keep track or of their training sessions and their performances? So athletes who keep track of a lot, do they perform better or outperform their peers that just show up to practice and kind of like wing it and don't have goals? And I don't know what the research question actually would be. I don't know if journaling is a predictor of Olympic success. It would be interesting if the analyses and things actually supported that. I don't know if that would make more people decide to journal, if that's what the predictor variable is. But I'm just wondering if the time you spend journaling and how much effort you put into keeping track of everything, if that leads to heightened performances, increased performances, better performances by our post-collegiate throwers, and even to our collegiate throwers. I know when I was coaching the 2015-16 season in NAS, all the guys kept very detailed notes. They all performed well to what our standards were, expectations were. 3 throwers competing at ECACs in the weight, 1 in the shot, having really good marks and a high team ranking and all that stuff. Anyway, they kept very accurate notes of what they did. I wonder if there's a relationship between that and performances and all of the background variables that go into those efforts. So I don't know if there's any researchers or anybody that has the same question or ideas, but it just kind of makes me wonder that Judd made 4 Olympic teams. He almost made a 5th, and he has stacks of these journals. If other Olympic athletes do the same thing or did the same thing, is there a relationship there? So just some food for thought for us on this random episode of the Coach's Car Chronicles. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and have a great day.